had a weekend to myself, and so I decided to do some urban sketching. I always kind of like the idea of being an artist who travels around and draws things, but I don't travel, but I do happen to live in Surrey, BC, which is just outside Vancouver, BC. I can go and play tourist whenever I want. At the beginning of June, I had weekend plans that fell through, and so I decided to take the opportunity to try out some urban sketching. As often as I draw in public, I am still a very shy, anxious person, and I picked out a few spots to potentially sit and get comfortable, go full-on tourist. And so of course I started at Waterfront Station. Lots of good views, open spaces, and lots of places to sit and just kind of be ignored. And of course I started with the iconic floating gas barge, which just exists to fuel boats. People are very interested in it, but that's all it does. And sitting on waterfront and drawing felt really natural. This whole area is just so full of visitors, so no one would really bat an eye at seeing somebody drawing on waterfront. I thought the most likely place to be able to sit somewhere and draw something would be in little green spaces, and so I started heading south. And as soon as I went like a couple blocks away from the major cruise ship area, it started to feel a little bit more awkward. I would find a spot to sit down on a bench. There wouldn't really be very much to actually look at, and there was always at least one person who was either leering at me or, let's say, standing in public with their pants down. So it was just too much, so I just kept going. I decided to walk through Chinatown. I used to go to school for pastry arts. More than 10 years later, the place is very different. Like, it is the same, but it's a lot more worn down. Gates were closed and locked that used to be open. And I did finally find a little quiet spot on the corner of a park. And I drew one of the viaducts that have been slated to be demolished for ages. In fact, this whole neighborhood used to be a vibrant Black community that was destroyed to put up these viaducts that they decided at the last minute not to build a highway through Vancouver, which seems like a tragic waste. I didn't want to stay in places for too long, and a lot of the things that interest me the most are actually in the downtown east side of Vancouver, which I wouldn't necessarily want to be lingering, just because the area does feel a little bit like I'm intruding, like you're walking through somebody's personal property. I don't want to be gawking and taking pictures, but I do love walking through because it's just lots of aging infrastructure, lots of graffiti, and that's where I think the city just seems to have more life, more human in it. Lots of beautiful colors, and just the scope of how do they get up there and make that. You know, it's really something to see. Unfortunately, I didn't actually do a whole lot of drawing on this walk, and I felt like I was sitting at that spot for so much longer than I actually did. I should have stayed way longer, but I did not put enough specific potential sitting areas in my plan. So I was spending a bunch of time throughout the month drawing from photos, which is, not as exciting, and I was posting them on Patreon. And if you are a mailing patron, where I send a sketch to you every month, so one of these sketches is going to be mailed to each person in that tier. So it was the end of June, and I still hadn't finished the video, and I was so enthusiastic about drawing everything all at once, but I would get so distracted by other things, like social outings, the occasional weekend market, and some anxiety about it. I did a little craft fair in South Surrey, which was really a nice little place, and I saw the biggest moth in my entire life, and met some cool people. It it was taking me longer to do like gig work and commissions, editing other videos, making some new things. I did a draw this in your style for Fruit Blush, posting on Patreon, getting obsessed with new music that's coming out, that I forgot to prioritize the urban sketching theme, and that fell by the wayside, and I feel like I lost a lot of momentum there when it came to actually coming home and doing a sketching process. And luckily, my interest in drawing local stuff and structures and animals and plants and stuff, the interest is always there. So it wasn't hard to get back into this drawing. I wasn't really concerned about making it look beautiful or super accurate. You'll see me just kind of like measuring angles and stuff. Otherwise, I'm just kind of trying to capture what it looks like generally. And there's nothing super special about this building. It's called the Green Shields Building, built in 1901 just for a dry goods company, and they call it a Romanesque revival style, whatever that means. My favorite part about walking around downtown is admiring all of the like statues mounted on the very tops of buildings, random textures, carvings, and angles and domes and gargoyles, and it's got a flair to it that you don't see anymore in modern buildings. And I think the interest that I have in drawing these things is probably just the deep appreciation that I have that I get to live here. I don't know how, it just happened accidentally, and I know that at any moment it could be taken away. And so I do love being able to draw the things while they're here. And the thing that I do love the most about the city is how fast and often it changes and looks different. So there's always something new to look at. And part of that is losing a lot of the things that I love to look at. And I will be drawing one of these buildings, and then as I'm looking into the history of them, I will discover that they are slated to be demolished soon. And there are so many times where we're just walking around casually and it's like, I don't remember what this used to look like. And so I do like the idea of having sketchbooks full of records that I can look back on things that aren't there anymore, and to be like, yeah, I've been here, I got to see this. So this is a great exercise to do when you really don't know what to draw again, is to walk around and draw what things look like, because you never know, you won't have any warning someday if things drastically change.